Hey, what's up, Heartland family? Pastor Chris Coakley here, checking in with you. Just wanted to take a moment to say hello and say how much we miss you guys. Kind of stuck in Pennsylvania right now with the no travel and the lockdowns and all that kind of stuff. And I can, totally honest, I just wish I was there with you guys. I don't know if you guys feel anything like I do, but I know I've been frustrated a little bit because I just want to be there, get going, hanging out with everybody. But my family and I are doing pretty well, and just been thinking about our church a lot. Been thinking about, especially like our student ministries, trying to connect with them. But before I get started with kind of today's daily devotional briefing, I just want to remind you all that you should have received an email about our prayer meeting tonight, which is going to be on the Zoom platform. The Zoom is a video conferencing thing, very easy. If you don't have Zoom downloaded, you literally click the link to join, and it will walk you through how to download it. So that will be our prayer meeting. That way we can interact, not just by typing, but with faces. And all that. Speaking of the youth, I've been checking in on them, texting as many of them as I possibly can. This past Sunday night, we actually did youth group on the Zoom platform. It was awkward but good. I'm more of an in-person guy, but we had about 20 people checking in during that time of youth group, and we had a time of just checking in, talking about their feelings, what they're going through, but also we played a game. Which we called it Home Hunt, and I'd be like, go get a spoon, and you get an extra points if you get a spork. Bring me an Uno card. So it was kind of a fun time. Just try to do our best to keep some normalcy going. Today we even had our first lunch video hangout. Sat right here, as you can see where I'm sitting on my table. And we had about 5-6 youth call in. We all video chatted while we were having lunch. Kind of sitting at a lunchroom table together. We're also kind of in the process talking to some of the students that we're going to pick a YouVersion Bible app plan to go together, and they'll receive like a 2-3 minute video from me every day talking about my feelings and my thoughts on that, and we're going to try to do devotions together, 5 days a week, 7 days a week, somewhere in between over this next time. We're also utilizing an app called Marco Polo. It's kind of like texting, but video texting. So like I could send the kids like, yo, what up, man? How you doing? Been thinking about you. And they can look at it and check it whenever they want. So we've been just trying to figure out, as everybody else is, how to do youth ministry. And kind of we always think about youth being digital, and they are more than some generations, but this is really not normal for them either. So we're just trying to figure all that out, but doing what we can. So this morning, the thought I kind of had was that, and I don't want to make light of or even joke about how quickly COVID-19 can spread, but my thought this morning was, Christianity can spread just as quickly, and just thinking about this opportunity that we have, and I know we're on lockdown, and we're not supposed to, we're supposed to be 6 feet apart and all that, but there are a ton of things that I'm still thinking that we could do. I'm thinking about Terry earlier about the mask, and I'm like, man, I wish I knew how to sew. I would totally be in on this. I saw a Facebook post yesterday of somebody who's works at a cash register retail store, and she said somebody sewed some masks at home for her, and just how loudly that spoke to her. And this person wasn't a follower of Jesus. I know that I've been having a ton of conversations with my non-Christian friends, because some of them literally believe this is the end of the world, and it's kind of funny. This one of my good friends, they keep saying, well, you talk to Jesus, right? And so it's been really cool to kind of just have conversations about Jesus and all that. And so I just want to encourage you to try to find something you can do. I've been seeing Facebook posts of, grandkids. I saw one today of a grandchild going to their grandpa's house, but the kids stayed outside, and the grandpa was inside, and they got like a dry erase marker, and they played tic-tac-toe on the screen door or the glass door there. That way they were still, confined from each other. I've seen people go to nursing homes on the outside of the windows and call into the person that's sitting there and have a conversation. That way they could still see, and so I just think this is like a huge opportunity for us that we could show people who Jesus really is. I believe that there's a lot of misconceptions about Jesus. Some of that is just because people don't know, and some of that is because they've encountered somebody that didn't represent Jesus well. But I just think this is an opportunity. I was thinking about this verse this morning, John chapter 13, verse 35. If you love each other, everyone will know that you're my disciple. You see, I'm sure you know this, but back in the day, like, everybody was a disciple of something. Whether they were a disciple of a rabbi or a disciple of a carpenter, or like everybody was kind of a disciple of something. And it also even carried into that certain rabbis would believe certain things. For example, Pastor Andy could believe this, and if you believed in what Pastor Andy believed about that, then if you would speak like he would, be like, oh, well, you're a Pastor Andy's disciple. Or on the same kind of subject, but seen it a different way. If I thought it was like this, and when someone asked you a question and you answered the way that I would answer, it'd be like, oh, well, you're Pastor Chris's disciple. So it wasn't just like an apprenticeship, but it was like, oh, well, you've said all this, so you must be this rabbi's disciple, or you've said all this, so you must be this rabbi's disciple. And so there was always these kind of theological or educational determinations to figure out whose disciple you were. And Jesus says the way that they will know that you're my disciple is by the way that you love each other. Like, that was this whole determining factor. It wasn't that you believe this about the end times, or this about communion, or this or this or this or that. It was that by the way you love each other, that's how they know you're one of mine. And I just really thought a lot about that today, about what are things I could do to for my neighbors. Steve lives next door, maybe knock on his door. Hey, Steve, don't come out, but do you need something, man? Can I get something for you? Can I even take your trash out? Like, something. So I think in this time, I really want to encourage us to think about how we can represent Jesus well. And the way that we're going to do that is by loving each other well. I want to close with this. I remember a story from a book I read called The Rise of Christianity. An archaeologist found a letter from one Roman soldier to another. And in that letter, it had a whole bunch of stuff about how he was like, man, the Christians are different. They act different. But one of the things that stood out to me from that letter was that it was during a time of the actual plague. And one soldier said to the other, like, the Christians are going out into the streets, grabbing and picking up the people that other people have left on the streets to die, or kicked out of their homes because they didn't want to get it. And they're bringing them into their homes and caring for them and loving for them, either nursing them back to health or just being there when they passed. Now, please hear me. I'm not in any way saying, like, go find a COVID-19 patient and bring them into your house. That's not what I'm saying. But in that moment, during that crazy time on the earth, kind of somewhat similar to what we're feeling right now, the impression of Jesus was made because Christians acted in such a different manner than everybody else. And that's what I want to leave that thought with you today, is to love each other so that they have no question that we're Jesus' disciple. That's how Christianity can spread during this time. Whether it's giving an extra toilet paper roll to your neighbor, whether it's picking up an extra loaf of bread for your neighbor, I don't know, there's sewing a mask for a medical professional, or this or that. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that we could be doing in this time, even though we're on lockdown. Calling somebody, checking in on somebody. People will know that Jesus is real in this time simply because of the way that we love each other. All right, Heartland family, that's your daily briefing. I miss you guys. I can't wait to get back out there. And as always, if you need anything, please contact Andy. Please contact me, the office. We're family. All right, love you guys.